Hey there. I'm about to run 14 miles. So it's my first half marathon. But why am I doing this? And which special meditation technique am I going to use to help me complete this mission? So yes, the mission for today, a half marathon, which is basically from Ely train station, which you can see there's Ely Cathedral, and I think you can probably make out the people waiting on the platform on the station there, all the way to Cambridge North. It's a beautiful riverside run where you get to see a lot of wildlife and get to really enjoy the pleasant countryside of the Fens. It's also good for me because I don't like to run on concrete like that. I like to run on grass or soil. Now I know, there's lots of studies that seem to be showing that running on concrete or so on isn't bad for your knees and hips. But I'm not convinced. Just doesn't feel right for me. So unless I have to, I'll make sure I'm on something a bit more soft. So why am I doing this? Well, I think it's very important to keep challenging yourself and to keep using skills you want to maintain. Now, one of the skills I want to maintain is the ability to run whenever needed using a meditative technique which I learnt in Japan. You're probably aware that in Japan there are people who practice running as part of their spirituality. They're known as the marathon monks. Now they teach many different types of running, and these methods involve certain paces, certain ways of running, numbers of steps and breathing techniques and methods of focus. In Tibet, these techniques are called Lung Gompa, which is meditative air running or meditative energy running. And they use almost the same method. Now, this isn't something you can or should convey on a public video like this, but I can show you a little bit of what it looks like, and I can describe the feel of this meditative running approach. So what it looks like, the most standard approach, so this is the approach that a messenger in Tibet or a pilgrim who needs to get somewhere reasonably quickly in Japan might use, looks a bit like what we'd call quick time. So it's a number of fast steps and then a number of slow steps. So the person kind of looks like waves as they move along. So let me demonstrate. And this might be better conveyed by changing the point of view. So we have a fast number of steps and a slow resting number of steps. Now, what would the experience of this be like? Well, through the breathing and the focus, the practitioner undertaking this method will start to increasingly feel light as a feather, and the whole experience of the run will be like this. It will be a floating meditative breathing session. Now, this run has got some challenges for using this technique, in that I can undertake the method until I get to, there's a sort of an area where you go through villages where I need to slow down and work out exactly where to go. So I'll probably have to walk those just near the end, which will be a good cool down. Anyway, the most I've ever done in my life before is 7 miles. So we're about to double it at a gentle pace. I've got this lovely app on my phone that can track my run. So I'm going to stop talking to you and turn that on now. And hopefully I'll see you at Cambridge North. So here we are, Cambridge North Station. So what's going to happen next? Well, I need to make sure that the outcomes of this exercise are all positive. And to do that, I need to recover well. This is good for me, good for my body, but it's also good for those around me. I have duties to my family and duties to the company I run and to the world. So I need to make sure that I keep balanced and don't neglect other things because of this. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to walk for a couple of miles. This means that my body's moving but not under strain, and it gets to get rid of any of the metabolites from the testing run, and just to warm down a bit. I'll also stretch, and I'll probably drink a pint, maybe even 2 of milk. This is a real quick way to get all the nutrients I need to start recovering in place. Now I will make sure I don't eat more than normal. This is because I think we should test our body in different directions, and we're all very willing to test it now and again with an extra 500 calories or an extra 1,000 calories, but let's test it now and again in the opposite direction and really get those mechanisms that release energy or deal with situations where there's more energy output than input. Let's just make sure they still work and are working well. And there's also some, that'll help my body composition goals in many ways as well. This evening, I will relax quite a bit. My mind has also had to work. I was in a meditative trance running for hours on end. So this evening, I'm actually writing a description of someone else of a book that's got a series of academic articles in it, and drinking green tea. But before I go to bed, I'll also have an ice bath. And for me, just 15-20 minutes in an ice bath is really relaxing, but it really helps the body recover and takes down inflammation. Now I won't do this straight away. I don't want to, some people do that, they do it straight after exercise. I think, well, this is another stressor for the body. Let's not do anything that's going to make it more tough for it. Then I will have an early night and sleep well. Then tomorrow I will continue with all the same disciplines. I'll make sure that I stretch, make sure that I eat well, but not any more than usual. I will exercise, but gently, and I'll have another ice bath and another early night. And I'll keep a watch on my mind and my body to make sure that I maintain equilibrium. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed joining me for this running adventure. I'll see you next week.